All right, welcome everybody. Today I am here with my good buddy and former RPI student, Dr. Santosh Gupta, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! Yeah. It's tough to get real crowd noises in here, you know. But Santosh is out in San Jose. He got his PhD from RPI and then moved out west, got a job at Apple. And maybe he'll tell us a little bit about that, doing Internet of Things and some artificial intelligence. And now he's at PricewaterhouseCoopers. Before that, while he was a student, he was actually involved with a startup company that was a spin out of RPI, went through the National Science Foundation I-Corps program, and that's where we met. So Santosh, thanks for talking to the students, man. This is great.
Absolutely. And thanks to you, Clint, for this opportunity. And I want to let your class know that Clint was my mentor for the NSF I-Corps program at RPI, and I owe him a lot. So whatever I'm doing right now, it's like I still use his knowledge and tips. And I think you guys are very lucky to have him as your official course instructor.
Thank you for that, man. But you were like a rock star customer discovery guy. I remember that. Like you went out, you were fearless and asked the right questions and everything. You know, trying to understand things. So it was good for you. I hope you keep doing that. I want to see you start a company someday. Another one.
Absolutely.
So why don't you tell everybody what happened after graduation from RPI? What happened? Because you know the students are going to graduate someday and get a job. What happened? What happened with you? You got a job at Apple, right?
Yeah. So once I graduated from RPI, I moved to a much bigger school, you know, where there are a lot more exams, a lot more tests. So what I'm trying to say is, in real world also there is a lot of learning. It's continuous learning. You have to keep yourself up to date. And when I say learning, it's not just technology, it's learning people skills, managing projects, managing multiple things, communications, how to maintain relationships.
Did they have a whole like educational course packet type thing you had to go through, like all the interpersonal stuff to how to be a manager and things like that, like all these classes you had to take at Apple?
Not really. It's mainly like they will have some required business ethics and those kind of things, but then everything else is pretty much learning on the job. Okay. So yeah, I think straight out of RPI after my PhD, and then I was postdoc for a while we were doing the spin-off that we got from NSF I-Corps.
Yep.
And after that, I moved to Apple, where I started working in their smart home group, mainly in the IoT and AI ML group. So that was a good learning experience, in the sense in school and other projects you do it at some scale, and at company like Apple you do it at the largest possible scale.
Yeah.
When we were working at hardware projects, imagine you are creating the software, hardware, whatever you are working on, the IoT piece you're working on. It's like you have to roll out millions of those, like hundreds of millions of those, and that's the thing you have to, like, the scaling thing. That's a very good learning experience, and that level of scale, there are very few companies where you can actually get that opportunity to learn. So that I would say was one of the major learning experience at Apple.
That's good.
And of course, working with the team size at school, you would have projects like 3 or max 4 students working in a project, but here you will have hundreds of people in your team, and not just your team. Like if I'm working on a home project, then we will interact with Wi-Fi team, we will interact with Bluetooth team. There might be some, all pretty much like we will interact with the NLP team, we will interact with the power team, display team, all possible teams. So not just your team, it's like multi-team interaction. And then there are a lot of,
it's like very, very segmented then too, right? I mean, power,
yeah.
Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, all these different things, very technology segmented.
Yeah, at Apple, pretty much we have like vertical alignment. Like it's more of technologically aligned. And then when we create a product, we get expertise from each of those.
I
So it's
see.
not like you'll have a technology team for each product. You have technology based on the vertical,
Yep.
and then they will help out with whichever product they need to work on.
Did you ever get the opportunity to talk to a customer or somebody that would be an end user of a product?
Not at Apple.
Not out there. Yeah. Is that
Yes.
done by
So
is that done by another team? Like are there other teams
yes,
that go off and do that?
there are other teams. There are marketing teams which would provide input to the engineering team.
Hmm.
And Apple is a bit different in the sense it's a bit more secretive
Yeah.
about its product and about talking to customers or
Mm,
giving out like gathering data on new products.
mhm.
So as engineers or as in the technology team, we would stay away from that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much handled by customer team. We have the Apple support team. They would get a lot of feedback from the customers.
I see.
Sometimes they would also get a new request like, oh, this is not working. So those kind of input we would get. And then of course the product marketing team.
I heard Apple was like super top secret about that. Did you have to sign all kinds of documents when you first got
Oh yeah.
there, and then when you left the job? How was that?
Leaving the job is it's not that bad because the NDAs that you sign, those are always they remain in
Yeah.
effect for a few years after you leave, and then you have to sign something every time you work on a new project. So
Oh well. Okay.
yeah,
It's good. That's good. So sounds like a good experience overall. Um, and
absolutely. And uh, I think one more thing is, I mean, to your specifically to your class, it's very important to select the first job out of a school. Like you shouldn't get carried away by brand names or the paycheck, of course, that is important.
yeah.
Yeah, but you should have a focus on picking up the right job which matches your profile
Mm,
and where you think you can learn and grow. So some company might give you some other position and there that might pay more versus some other company where you can actually apply your skills, you can learn from the people you want to learn from,
mm.
and that kind of can make a whole lot of difference in your growth. And, uh, Glad you know all of
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. No,
Uh,
that's very true. I mean, that's like starts the building blocks of your whole career. And if the first
yeah,
block is a really good foundation, then you'll be set for the next jobs to come.
yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect. How did you end up going to PwC?
So it just happened that I had few connections at PwC, and it's mainly they are more into services, but they have a very good product team also,
Hmm.
and they started to work on a couple of new enterprise AI products, and they needed people with IoT, AI, ML, NLP background, and who have worked in companies which have actually launched products,
Hmm.
and that's what they were looking for. And I thought it might be a having worked with Apple for more than 3 years,
Yeah.
it sounded like a good opportunity to apply whatever I have learned at
Right.
Apple at a scale and go take it to a different company or a new company where they are starting out and try out not just engineering but a leadership role also.
Wow, that's good. Yeah, it doesn't
So
seem
yeah,
they're more like online software service type stuff, right? I mean, they don't usually do hardware type things, do they?
no, they don't do hardware type, and on that also they are more of like they're big in tax and assurance and advisory, those kind of services.
Yeah.
um, and then this product segment is growing pretty fast, so they want to have product offerings, like software product offerings with their services,
Got it.
and that's where this enterprise AI thing is coming up. And enterprise AI market is huge. It's like growing at a very fast pace. So
Is that just for my own education? Is that something where the client can then develop their own AI applications or something like that? This is like some platform to help them do AI.
yes, it's more like a platform. And then most of the time these enterprise customers, they want a ready to use product which they can just deploy in their environment
Mhm.
and then just become productive from day one instead of having to manage a huge IT team to
Yeah.
support it and take care of it. So that's the market focus right now. And there are a lot of small, medium, and large businesses.
Yeah.
So basically, no one wants to put aside a R&D team or put R&D budget. So they just want services or products they can readily use and deploy.
Yeah.
Be productive from day one. So
Got it. How long have you been there?
it's been 7-8 months now.
Okay.
So yeah, it's pretty pretty good. A lot of when a new team is building up, there are a lot of challenges of
Yeah.
all kinds.
Right. Right. That's what about